Welcome to Marketing Mondays with Estheticians in Business, the podcast. This is bite-sized marketing boost your esthetician business didn't know it needed, but now can't live without. I'm Allyson, your esthetician business coach. I'm your hype woman. I'm the voice in your ear that's reminding you that you don't need 1,000 followers. You actually need a strategy. Every Monday, I'll be dropping quick, no fluff marketing tips to help you get visible, get booked, grow a business that pays the bills, and lights you up. Think of these as like mini marketing pep talks with an actual plan. So before we get into the show, I have to ask, does business ever feel like it is so much harder and it's growing so much slower than it should be? Honestly, this may be why. It could be because you're losing clients to confusing booking systems, missed follow-ups, losing money to fees you don't even see, and losing time to admin instead of actually spending time with your clients. And that's really why I always recommend Gloss Genius. It does the work for you to bring in more revenue and free up time, and it fills your calendar, rebooks clients automatically, helps you earn more than every appointment, and puts your busy work on autopilot. So go to glossgenius.com, use the code EIB to get 50% off your first 2 months of gold or platinum plan. Hey guys, welcome to Estheticians in Business, the podcast. Welcome to your Monday marketing, where I'm going to do just a quick, podcast, obviously, on marketing. And I'm actually excited about this topic today because I saw somebody who specifically does branding on Instagram, like that's his thing. And he actually brought this topic up, and I thought it was so good because it's actually a topic that I've mentioned a few times in the sense of when someone tells me that the market is too saturated. And I'm like, no, it's not. Yes, there's a lot of people in the industry, but it's not too saturated because no one is you. And people get so weird when I say that, but I think that comes with a few different aspects, which I would recommend probably doing some confidence coaching, doing some like believing in yourself work when we talk about stuff like this. But if you've ever said the industry is too saturated, that more estheticians need to stop going solo and all these things, we're going to work through that today. The industry isn't too saturated. The demand is just that big. The demand not only for freedom in their business, scheduling in their life where they don't have to deal with a boss, where they get to have control. All those things exist. A lot more people are becoming entrepreneurs because they see what's possible. They see that like, okay, I want to have what she has. I want to make that kind of money. I want to have that kind of freedom. I want something that's for myself. And I think that's impeccable. I think that's huge. If somebody had told me like, Allyson, you should stay in the military and not pursue entrepreneurship because there's too many entrepreneurs out there, I would have been like, you're silly. That's crazy because there's no one that's me out there. And that's even at like 19-year-old Allyson who had thought that, you know? Now, I left the military in 2019-ish, something like that. And I was an entrepreneur prior to leaving the military. And I remember I texted my sister and I was telling her something about this business I wanted to start. And she said, Allyson, if anybody can do it, you can do it. And that just stuck with me forever. And I always believe in not being a dream killer. So like if you feel like the industry is too saturated, or you don't like how you're running your business, or you're not being successful, stop putting that on other people. This is not even part of the podcast that I'm going with, but don't put that on other people. Don't put don't dream kill, because how many people, I think about it, have started coaching and have quit because it quote unquote didn't work for them. And yes, sometimes businesses don't always work as you want them to, but it doesn't mean that you should kill somebody else's dream. Now, when I was in the military, a lot of people did tell me, I remember one time I had a Sergeant Twos. So Master Sergeant Twos, that's what he told me. He said, Allyson, don't burn bridges because you may need a recommendation from one of us one day. And I say don't burn bridges, but they were nuts and they weren't going to let me go to my wedding to literally organize a drawing vault, which was like, imagine a bazillion floor plans, literally hundreds of thousands of floor plans. And they wanted me to organize it. And I told them, no, I was going to get married. And he told me to not burn bridges because I was going to not get a recommendation one time from him. And I was just like, I don't think I need a recommendation for running my own business, but I'll let you know. Anyways, this is not part of the podcast. This is clearly just me having some pent up things I needed to work through. So my Sergeant Twos, if you listen to this, you were a great supervisor. Just did some stupid stuff. So, anyways, let's really get into the podcast. But how many times do we hear people on Facebook, on Instagram, all these things? I mean, I know I use it to get people's attention. When people say the industry is too saturated, but it's not true. Okay, the industry may be saturated with a lot of people, but the demand of it is needed. Like when someone would take a client, like quote unquote, take a client from me, I would just, there's so many people out there. Or when someone would choose to go to somebody else, like there's just so many people. Like I'm not trying to poach your clients to do any of those things because yes, there's a lot of estheticians, but there's only one of me. And the clients I'm supposed to have are going to be the clients I'm supposed to have. So let's talk about a few things. I'll try to make this quick because I clearly went on a rant prior to getting started. But here's the reality, okay? And I'm excited to challenge this thought with you today because what if oversaturation of the industry isn't proof that there's no opportunity? But what if it's proof that there's a true demand for that? And we only call things saturated when people want them. I want you to think about it. There are coffee shops everywhere. Literally every single Sunday, my husband and I go to church, and every single Sunday, I'm like, I wish there was a coffee shop on our way to church. Like, I really do. I don't even drink coffee, but I always need a matcha. It's early, and I was probably up all night. How many times do we think about restaurants? We just went to a brand new restaurant last night. And we do this every Tuesday. There's always restaurants, hair salons everywhere. Gyms are everywhere. I saw a post on Facebook in a group that I'm in that was like, where do we go for gyms that have childcare? There are so many gyms because they're all made for different people. And yet people are still opening new things all the time. Why? Because people are going to continue to buy. And there's nobody out there saying there's too many dentists. I guess I'll never become a dentist, right? The fact is there are a lot of businesses often means there's a really healthy market for it. And clients don't need every esthetician. Think about this. This is where a lot of people get stuck. You don't need to have every client. You don't need the entire city. You don't need thousands of people. You need enough people to fill your schedule. That's it. And for most solo estheticians, that's actually a pretty small percentage of the population that lives around you. And so when you're thinking about too much saturation, think about that in retrospect to the people that are around you. I knew personally like 15 estheticians in Orlando. Yes, Orlando's large, but I lived in a small part of Orlando. Orlando, guys, isn't just where Mickey Mouse lives. It's literally huge. Okay. And it's like everywhere. But in just my small area, I knew like 15. I was in a salon suites with like a bazillion other estheticians. And I sometimes referred my people to those estheticians. Why? Because she did something different than I did. Because I want you to think about saturation feels really scary sometimes because when we open up social media and we go into Instagram, we see people we see another acne specialist. We see another waxer or another med spa, another facialist. And all of a sudden it feels like everyone is doing what you do. But your clients aren't scrolling Instagram looking for every other esthetician. You have to remember that your feed looks significantly different than who your client is. She may have like authors on hers or fitness people on theirs, or, she's following you because you're her esthetician, or maybe she's, into anime. Like we don't know. Okay. And so they're not looking at the same feed you are. You are looking at a feed full of estheticians because that's what you're interested in. You're interested in skincare, you're interested. So of course you're going to see 5,000 acne specialists, but do any of them correlate to your direct location? Probably not. The thing is, people aren't looking at what you're looking at. They're looking for one they can connect with. So talk about things that like make you different, right? Or think about things that make you different. The answer isn't always that like you need to outperform somebody with a certification, or you get a brand new machine, or you have a new service. Sometimes it really simply is your personality. Sometimes it really completely is just the communication you provide, your client experience, your values that are important to people, your approach. That's why it's so important to show up in social media as you and not as somebody else, so people can specifically choose you. And sometimes it's really scary because you're like, well, what if it takes somebody out? If you start looking at that as a good thing, you're going to be way happier with your business because not everybody is supposed to be your client. So let's try to reframe saturation. So instead of saying like the industry is saturated, start saying the industry has demand. People are spending money on skincare. People are getting facials. They are investing in treatments. People are actively looking for solutions. And that's not a bad thing. That is truly a sign that people value what we do in this industry. And you have to remember that, guys, people are spending money on skincare. They're spending money on facials. They're investing in treatments. Like they're doing all these things. People are actively looking for solutions. And that's not a bad thing. That's just truly a sign that people are continually valuing what we do. People want more of what we offer in the industry. But we have to remember that the goal isn't to be like every other esthetician. It's not like a place where you just get to be like everyone else. You literally get to become the esthetician that people are going to choose. And because there's room for more people in business, there's room for you. So the thing is, and honestly, with all of this, if you don't want to join the table, make your own dang table. You know what I'm saying? If you can't pull up a chair to the table of all the other estheticians that are in there, make your own table. I encourage it. Make your own path. But like, don't get discouraged because there's another esthetician out there. And you know what I tell people when you start getting discouraged, you start seeing things that are discouraging to you, unfollow them, delete them, and move on with your life. The demand is there. You just have to remember that the industry is not too saturated at all. It's not. It may feel like there's a lot of people in it, and there is, but no one is you. If you can take anything away from this podcast, no one is you. You have to remember that. You are you and solely you. Now, if you're out there trying to be like everybody else, it may feel frustrating because you're like deactivating your creativity. You're not even really being you. And that's just unfair and unfun. But anyways, guys, I hope this was helpful. I know this necessarily wasn't marketing, but it kind of was in the sense of go out there and market like you. Show up like you. Like if you wanna yap and talk and chat on your Instagram, do it. If you're like, I just want to show up on B-rolls or I want to do funny things, do it. When you go and market and you're like, I'm introverted, market like you're introverted. Okay. You don't have to be this certain person. You can connect with the people you're supposed to connect with by being you. And that's why the industry isn't too saturated. The demand is there. But anywho, okay, I'm going to hop off, guys. I hope this is helpful. Also, before you do hop off, make sure you go to the show notes if you haven't already joined Estheticians in Business, the membership waitlist. This is where you're going to get direct access to the best prices, the founding price, which is going to be for a limited amount of people for this awesome membership that I'm just generally so excited about. We're looking at weekly trainings. We're looking at weekly Ask Als, which basically is going to be where you can post questions and I'm going to either go directly live, answer the questions or comment, answer the questions, whatever it is every single week to help and support you in your business. And that's just exciting to me. There's also going to be a community of people, of other estheticians. And my goal is really just to connect with you guys. And I'm just really, really excited for it. So if you're also excited and you want that kind of love, go ahead and join the waitlist and see what it's all about. So anyways, okay. Love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.